Hello, my friend. Welcome to your yoga practice. Today we're going to work on neural mapping. Maps are how our brain understands our body and the world, and they're created by neurons firing together. Those are the working units of our brain, and they fire, and there's an electrical charge that goes between them, and this is what underscores all of our body movements, all of our behavior. It's just different maps and relationships between neurons firing up at different moments. And so when we're talking about mapping, this is an ongoing process throughout our lives. Our maps can change. They can become more second nature to us. This is how, like, when you first start driving a car, you have to pay attention to everything. And then as you get more practice, you're not even paying attention to it anymore. That's a sign that our maps have been really insulated. And so those pathways are just crystal clear. And so what we're going to do today is restructure some of our maps around movement so that we have more optimal movement options available to us on and off the yoga mat, and that will have a tremendous impact on our aches and pains. So, ready to get started? Let's go. Come on down to your back. If you have a yoga block, you can have it around you. And we'll begin here by mapping the pelvis. So, bend your knees, step your feet close into your hips, lift your hips up off the ground and place them down so that you feel your sacrum on the floor. Your sacrum is a little fusion of low back bones between your back dimples. So feeling that, where your low back is just a little bit lifted away from the yoga mat, let's take the hands to the front of the pelvis, and we're going to try to hold the pelvis exactly like this as we stretch the right leg out. Maybe it goes straight, maybe it doesn't. That's okay. You're just gathering information here. But don't let your pelvis change. And as you do this, feel your front ribs. Are they pushing up to the sky? Grip your lowest ribs into each other and towards the belly button, and relax the shoulders. Go ahead and move that right knee in and out, away from your body. So you're beginning to play around with some movement while your brain is mapping the pelvis. This next time, take the right foot in and stretch your left leg out. When it goes out, make sure it doesn't pull that side of the pelvis down with it. So you got to regather, and then you can do your in and out motions. If you feel little pops in your joints, that's very normal. So unless something hurts, you don't really need to worry about it too much. Feel your standing leg is strong because it's helping to hold your pelvis in place. Okay, left foot down on the ground. And here is where, if you have a yoga block, take it between the thighs. You can take it the thin way or the medium way, whatever feels good to you. And now, soles of the feet on the ground. Before you lift your hips, squeeze your butt muscles. See if you can get them squeezing and firing. And just so your brain is mapped down there, it wants to have easy access to these glutes. So let the glutes go. And now ramp them up, squeeze the butt muscles, and now use that to help lift the pelvis off the ground a few inches. Does that feel different than how you normally do bridge? So in this way, we're letting the brain map down to the glutes first, and then everything else around them becomes helpers. So breathe here. Let's reach the arms up to the sky, but keep your ribs knit in and down. And then let's flex the fingers back to the face and grab on to one set of fingers with the other hand so you can stretch out the forearms. Make sure you have a comfortable position for your feet and your ankles and your knees here. You can stretch out your other wrist. Take the hips back down, release the arms to the ground. If you have the block, keep it there. Interlock the hands behind the head with the elbows wrapped in. And in this, what we want to feel is the initiator, just like we felt the glutes before. Here, let's locate the lowest ribs where they knit together on the front side. And now you have tissue around there. We want to grip that tissue, so that tissue is going to pull your lowest front ribs together and down to the belly button as you lift the head up off the ground a few inches. Now breathe, get steady here, relax your head into your hands. Maybe you can kind of shake it out a little bit, yes and no, so you know your neck is not involved here. Instead, grip the abdomen, the tissue right around the low front ribs. It's pulling those front ribs down to lift you up. And now you're going to return the head back down, but keep those low ribs still pulling in so they're not popping up. Is that different? Okay, same thing. Before you come up, grip the tissue, get it used to its job, then start to curl the head up off the ground, really getting those front ribs in and down to the belly button. Breathe here, nice and steady, really let the head go. Try to get nice and calm, and then come on down. Okay, we can do one more time. So get the tissue going first, then pull the front ribs down as you lift up off the shoulder blades, head nice and soft into the hands. Easy does it. You can do it. And then let it go. Good job. Go ahead, release the block. You can windshield wiper the knees a little bit left to right and take some nice, deep, slow breaths. Take your time to come on up to a comfortable seat. And eventually you can roll over onto all fours into a tabletop position. And in tabletop position, spread the fingers, pull the knees underneath the hips, and then bend the elbows, lower the elbows down to the floor, and then press into the hands and straighten the elbows up over the wrists. We're going to do that a couple of times, trying to keep the hands evenly spread and grounding to the floor. And if that's not possible, notice what is and is not possible for you. So when you map, you're also gathering information that's really useful to you because you're learning how you're put together right now. So elbows down. If this is comfortable, you can leave it like this. Otherwise, feel free to clasp your hands. And then from here, tuck the toes, lift off the knees for dolphin. Now, first things here, we want to map all of the tissue around our chest and our armpits and our shoulder blades. So feel all of that like it's heating up and turning on. And it's gripping and it's holding you from all sides. And your arms too. Now, using all of that, turn in the head and neck, left and right, and really let go there because that's going to force the shoulders to work in a specific way. And that is the way you want to map. You want to map the way where the neck is free. Good job. Take the knees down to the floor. Everything we just mapped, it's now ready. It's right there for us to use. So come up to the hands, shoulders over the wrists, and feel the whole hand press down and the arm light up into the chest. Now melt your chest just a little bit so you feel those shoulder blades come together, and then pull the belly up. Feel the pelvis centered, and then with it, keeping all of that, we're going to try to map this and hold this still. Stretch your right foot back, toes tucked underneath. Now keep everything still in the front. Keep your shoulders over your wrist. Step your left foot back. High plank, top of a push-up. So this is really hard. Bend your right knee, bring it up right underneath the hip. Bend your left knee right underneath the hip. Feel your spine here. So as your head is lifted as it should be, woo, mine was not. So as the chest melts, get your head lifting, your belly lifting, and then step the right foot back, step the left foot back. Bend the right knee underneath, bend the left knee underneath. One more time. Step the right foot back, left foot back. Right knee underneath. Left knee underneath. You did it. Keep the breathing. Release and relax off your hands. You can circle the wrists around a little bit if that feels good to you. You're wrapping that with the block. That's nice. Okay, let's step it forward to the top of the mat. So let's get up on our feet. Ground your feet wherever is comfortable. Maybe right underneath the sitting bones if you can discern where those are on you. And then feel the hands on the pelvis here as you move around in some circles. So now you're getting a sense for all the possibilities of the pelvis. There's a ton of possibilities here, which is why it can get confusing. So go around the other direction. And get used to where these frontal hip bones are in the front of the pelvis. These are really good landmarks to know. And so feel those frontal hip bones lift up over the thigh bones. And like we did on our belly, feel the tissue on the front of the low ribs pull in and then open the chest. Pull your head back and up over the shoulders. And now let's take the left hand to the right side body, release the right hand by the side, and feel the shoulder snug in the socket, if you can get a sense for what that means. Now we're gonna start to reach that right arm forward, but not moving anything else, allowing it to trace all the way up to the sky. Feel the back and the side open. And reaching that right arm down in front, seeing if we can get a sense of where it is in the socket. Let's do that again 2 more times, reaching forward and up. Feel the shoulder blade, it moves with the arm. The shoulder blade doesn't really want to be stuck back there. It wants to go with the arm. But we're trying to keep the ribs still. Release the arm down by the side, the left arm down. Now let's reach both arms up to the sides. See how that feels. And then soften the knees, hinge forward at the hips, keep with a long spine over the legs. Bend the knees, lengthen the spine, and carefully step the left foot back, taking the knee down to the floor or to some blankets. When we come up, the left sit bone right over the left knee. The left sit bone right over the left knee, and push down and feel the whole front of the left thigh open. Now try to feel the pelvis evenly between the legs. Knit your front ribs in and down. Hopefully that even triggers a longer line from your left knee. And then if you'd like to add the arms, we can reach up, but keeping everything that we felt just a moment ago when we're standing. Now hold into the pelvis with the legs, reach the arms out and forward, lift the left knee up, scooch it forward under the body, release the head and neck. Bend the knees, scoop the tailbone, slowly start to curl the spine all the way up. When you come all the way up, reach the arms skyward. Taking the hands down through the center, down to the side, feel the pelvis. Feel the spine and the ribs and the head. And now find a place you want to commit to as you take the right hand to the left side. And we'll start to reach the left arm all the way forward and up. Shoulder blade and arm moving together. Everything else staying put. If you feel any pain along this journey, we want to try to stay in pain-free ranges, but keep coming back over time to see that those ranges open up for us gradually. Taking the hands to the hips. As we feel ready, soft knees, we're going to hinge forward, keeping the spine in the same shape all the way down over the legs. Bend the knees hard in front of the toes as we lift the right foot, tap the knee down to the floor, and come on up. So we have the right sit bone right over the right knee. Try to find that. It's hard to feel sometimes. And now you use the legs to squeeze in, getting the front ribs to come in and together. And then finally, if it feels okay, adding the Final piece of the arms up, which is never mandatory. Now hold everything in, and especially hold those front ribs in as you start to reach out and down and forward. Hands down, we'll actually move the left foot back now to our first downward facing dog. We can take a moment here, and instead of feeling like you're sagging into your armpits, if you feel that at all, actually lift up into your armpits and turn on all the tissue that we turned on in dolphin. So you should feel your chest and your arms and your shoulders work for you the same way here pretty much. Really letting go through the head and neck. And we want to keep our spine nice and long in the front, the sides, and the back. So you got to feel for yourself here in your body's history. What side do you normally collapse in on? Get that side nice and long. And now really push off, keep space in your arm joints as you push the hands back to the feet. Separate the feet a little bit wider, maybe even mat width distance, heels in, toes out, deep knee and hip bend. And you can have the elbows on the thigh or hands forward. Feel the legs pull into the pelvis, so the pelvis is supported. And all of the same things we've been feeling with those front ribs, for example, the nice open chest, open neck. Happy squat. See if you can hold the pose with your strength by taking the hands to the pelvis and then keeping the spine nice and long, hinging upright over the feet and reaching the arms wide in the air like a starfish. Nice deep breathing in and out through the nose. Like you can send tentacles of your brain into all parts of your body and feel all parts evenly. Let's take the hands down by the side, step the feet close in together at the back of the mat. We're going to hold our body nice and strong as we lift the right knee up in front of us as a march. So if you feel anything tilt, left, right, front, back, go a little bit lower to the ground and just work with a little bit less intensity. So go ahead and step that forward. Transfer the weight, the sit bone, right up over the right heel as you lift the left leg up. So you're holding the right glute in, holding those low ribs in, pulling the head and neck up and back. And then stepping that down. You can even use your hands to feel, because your hands give you more information and that helps with the mapping. And continuing to march forward. And taking the left foot down, feet down, reaching the arms all the way up to the sky, and hands down. With the hands on the hips, take the left foot back behind us for a high lunge. So it doesn't need to be super long. Keep the heel lifted if you can. Center the weight between the feet, and really get the pelvis upright. So get the pelvis into a position that you want to hit save on, let's say, and now use your leg muscles to hold it in position and really pull and knit those front ribs in. And then we see if we can add the arms. Let's take the hands to the hips, keeping the chest open and the head back. And now stay organized as you lift up and turn open to the left. With your hands wrapping around the front of your pelvis, bend into the left knee and really feel that hip crease as you sit back for side lunge. And then come up and over to the right. With the hands in the pelvis, you can feel if it's wobbling in relationship to your ribs. You want everything between your hip bones and your ribs to stay put. And that is going to make your hips work a particular way. Let's lift up through center and turn towards the back, high lunge. So this is intuitive here. We got to get into this brain mapping state of mind where it's like, okay, find the pelvis position I want to hit save on. Use all of my muscular tools to hold it there, and then keep working up the chain. And if something doesn't feel right, a bone or a joint, keep troubleshooting that until you find positions you want to hit save on. And then reaching the arms. As we feel ready, lift up, stay organized, turn to the right. Here we are again. Heels in, toes out this time with the knees tracking over the second toe for horse. Maybe a little bobbing up and down or shifting left and right. Again, all in service of finding those positions that feel like they're well balanced, where you have everyone showing up to the team. This is a team effort. So holding the position here, knitting the front ribs in, belly in, and then seeing if you can take the shoulders wide, arms wide. So feel this in the chest, and now feel you're not just hanging here in your joints. Feel the muscles do the work. So you feel everything turn on along the arm, along your chest, your shoulder blade and your upper back. Could you even start doing little teeny tiny circles with the arms in space? Feeling where the movement is occurring. Get your brain going in there because it can get more subtle over time. Where is the movement occurring? And could I create more harmonized balance in those bones? How do those bones want to move? Okay, good job. Taking the hands together at the hips, turn the toes to face forward, straighten the legs, and feel the legs wide. That might feel nice. Yeah, why don't we heel toe the feet all the way in together? And turn towards the front of the mat, hands on the hips. With the sitting bone right up over the ankle, we keep the legs strong as we lift the right knee in front. Step it down. Sitting bone over the ankle, left knee up and down. And at the top of the mat, we'll march in place a few times, up and down. And just when you think that you've got it, you're like, yes, it's perfect. It's right in that underwear crease. I bet you that there's still more you can pay attention to, more refined. After this last one, feet on the ground, reach the arms all the way up to the sky if that feels good for you. And then we'll hinge forward at the hips, keeping the spine long. Taking the hands down, stepping the feet back one at a time to downward facing dog. From our downward facing dog, let's shift the shoulders forward to plank. We felt plank once before at the beginning. So seeing if we can feel a sense of that, glutes on, belly on. We're going to tap the knees down to the floor. We're going to keep our head lifted as we bend the elbows 1 inch back. Push into the fingers, straighten the arms. So we're trying to keep the chest open, the head resisting. And instead of gravity doing the work for us, we want to feel the triceps, the back of the arms. Bend the elbows, lower all the way to the floor. Release down here on the belly and just let it go. Let your jaw soften, your tongue soften. Deep breathing into the lowest part of the belly that you can. And with half the effort. Stretch the legs back, anchor the glutes on the pelvis, so they're going to help you hold your pelvis. And then stretch the hands back under the elbows if you can get them that far. Make sure your head and neck is in a good place. Now feel the lowest part of your ribs that we've been working on really pulling up into the spine. Do that here as well as you roll your shoulders away from the floor. Can you use the muscles of your upper back and hover the hands? Use the muscles of your arms to stabilize as you straighten the elbows behind you. Bend and hover the hands under the elbows if you can. And straighten the arms. See if you can do that 2 more times. So you're mapping a nice stable torso and true shoulder movement. Shoulder movement that's not combined with movement anywhere else. Go ahead and release and relax that. See how you feel. Maybe even kind of shake out in your hips and your pelvis to also teach yourself to let go. It's not just about learning how to ramp up and when to ramp up, but also how and when to ramp down. Let's stretch the hands by the side, have the head lifted. Same principles here with the glutes and then the low ribs. Lift the right foot and knee up off the ground any amount. Add the left foot and knee to the mix. We want to feel the frontal hip bones hug toward each other, not like roll away from each other. And really feel the front ribs pull in and up to the spine. Now swim here in the legs if you can manage like a little inch of movement up and down. And think about your calves, your hamstrings, and your butt muscles doing the work. As we feel ready, hands underneath the elbows, and the legs are nice and strong. We're going to pull the whole torso up as a unit, push into the hands, and then send the hips back. Lower the forearms down. You decide if the hands are wide or clasped. One more time for dolphin. Shift up off the knees. Release and relax through the head. Try to get your spine as long as possible from head to tailbone. Try to feel your arms press, and they're part of a longer chain. And that chain goes up into your shoulder blades, into your ribs, all the way up your spine to your pelvis. So none of that is turned off. It's all part of the team. Bend the knees, come on down there. Come on up to a seat if you're okay to sit back on your toes. That can be a really nice stretch for your feet. You can feel your heart. Take a couple of nice low breaths in your belly. Let's come on down to our back. We'll start to cool ourselves down here. Now it's here that I'd like to invite you to do really anything that's going to feel soothing on your tissues or your nervous system, any stretch at all. If you'd like to do a little bit of a twist and stay kind of connected into the core, that's what I'll guide. So if you're doing your own thing, just kind of tune me out. For a twist, pull your knees into your belly, so much so that your tailbone lifts up off the ground. Make sure the back of your head has a lot of space. Reaching the arms to cactus or to a T. You want to keep those ribs pulling in together as you roll over to one side, keeping the knees tucked in tightly, almost as if the knees want to come to the armpit. And when I do that, my whole other side lifts up off the ground, which I'm totally fine with. But I do just want to feel the whole back body fill up completely, as if my back body is an inner tube, some sort of inflatable device. And if you're twisting, go ahead and take your other side as well. Coming into a Shavasana whenever you're ready and however you'd like that to be, whether it's lying flat on the ground or on a couch or a bed. Giving yourself a moment to close your eyes and practice ramping down. Even our behavior is mapped in our brain. And so think about how you normally come out of Shavasana. Because for me, it usually starts in my head with a little bit of thinking. Okay, time to get up, that kind of stuff. And then every time I do it, it gets reinforced. That pathway becomes more insulated. And that means that next time it's going to be more automatic. So this gets into our habits and all of that good stuff. So let's purposefully break the mapping that we have for emerging from Shavasana. And however you normally do it, don't plan it out, but just do it a different way today. And if you'd like to come up to a seat, call to mind how you normally do that. And let's today purposefully map a different way of doing it. Now, once you get up to your seat, if you have a few moments to spend quietly sitting here, that will also do our system some good. So the best thing you can do for yourself after a session like this is go take a break, get some water, and then the next thing you do after this, whatever it is, start it slowly and start by really deeply paying attention to it, because you're primed to pay attention for things. That's how the mapping actually functions. We can't build new maps without paying attention. So you're already in that place. I say let's just carry it through for the rest of the day and see what happens. Alrighty, make sure you are subscribed to our weekly letter. You can do that on our website. That is free, so make sure you're there. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed. And we take donations, woohoo! So if you would like to donate to this work and keep it free for everyone who needs it, then head on over to yogainyourlivingroom.com and make a donation there. Alrighty, my friend, until next time, it's been fabulous. I'm Brenton, this is Ollie, and we'll see you here soon.